What's up, my friends? Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to serve anyone who's looking to level up from their current situation. This show is dedicated to helping raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts out there, those who want more out of life, those who want to do more, those who want to be more, those who love the thrill, the joy, and the connection of what these high performance engines bring into our lives. Because holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a great freaking person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about leveling up your friendships and how expanding your network really helps empower your net worth. And so we've all heard that popular phrase. And if you haven't, maybe you've been under a rock all this time, because it seems like this phrase is all over the place. Your network is your net worth. And man, I haven't always, to be fully transparent, I haven't always believed in that. And when I didn't believe in it, it was like just out the window, and my network wasn't really big. It wasn't until I really started developing, really started learning, and really started growing of how I wanted to go from here to there through my career, that it really started to just I guess I'm looking for the word, but I can't find it right now. It's just really started to just deepen in with me and just really find significance and true meaning for what that brings to our lives. And so, for just an example, and this is why this episode came to life, is because last week was my birthday. I turned 38, and then last weekend, which was right after my birthday, I got invited to ride side-by-sides. I personally don't have a side-by-side yet. I've always wanted one, but it's just those things are like buying a car, and I want something turbo, so those are expensive. And my garage is filled with motorcycles right now, so I will have one shortly, but that's not the point. So we got invited to ride side-by-sides, and I got really invited by one of my best friends. And we were originally going to go up to around the Ocala National Forest area, huge riding area. I've never been there, and you camp out there. My best friend has an RV, and so he pulls the side-by-sides. We're able to stay there. Awesome time. And it just so happened, and he's never had an experience where it's sold out. And it just so happened that that weekend ended up being sold out. And we already had all these plans set up. And when he found out that it was sold out, we were like, oh man, what's going on? What are we going to do now? Let's change our plans. And then he really just started thinking about it. He's like, hold on a minute. I met one of my neighbors not too long ago, and we're really connected. And he was telling me about how he has a property in Ocala, and he goes riding all the time, and he has access to a lot of acreage. And let me give him a call. Maybe I can make that work. And it's just awesome how this is all coming together as I'm thinking about the story, because it really shows that you know the powerful connection that your network brings. And so my friend met his neighbor. He has my best friend has his house in the Keys. They go down every weekend, and so he met his neighbor, and they started bonding. And they're like, "Oh, you're into cars too? I'm into cars. Oh, you're into bikes? I'm into bikes. Oh, you're into guns? I'm into guns. Oh, you ride? Oh, I ride." And so all this started happening. So when my friend called his neighbor, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, absolutely, man. I'm actually going to be up here that weekend. That's just last weekend. Why don't you come by? I have 55 acres on my property that we could ride. Bring the kids could ride. No worry about traffic coming in or hitting them. And then there's also the Ocala National Forest, which is right down the road from my house. And we could go right there with the adults. We're going to go have a good time." And so this all just happened of just talking to one person, and my friend remembering that his neighbor offered that opportunity. And so he called, and we leaned out. He kind of stepped out of his comfort zone and was like, "Hey, you know what? I'd like to go. Is the opportunity still available?" He was like, "Absolutely, come by." And so we drove up there. It was my best friend, his 3 kids, his dad. It was me, another good friend, and his son. And so we went up there and we met these people. We've never really hung out with them. I had never personally met them. My best friend had never personally really interacted with them face to face. They talk to each other over the canal because their home is on one side of the canal. There's a canal. You have the boat slips, and then this guy lives. He has a house on the other side of the canal. And that's how they talk. They just kind of talking, and it just goes to show you, man, that when you're humble, when you're a good person, when you mean well, when you have good intentions, the opportunities just come up and they arise. And that's exactly what happened. And we got over there and we met him, we met his family. It just so happens that all his friends that are his neighbors were there that weekend too, and we met all of them. And this group of people were about like 10 to 15 years older than us. I mentioned that I turned 38 last weekend, and they're in their early 50s. And so when I heard that, I was like, oh, we might not bond that good. But it was the complete opposite, man. And we bonded amazingly. They were so humble. They were so open. They were so genuine. They treated us like pretty much they'd known us for years, and we had just really met them. And they started talking to us about their life and their experience. And we were there all weekend. We were there for multiple days, and it was just so like genuine to learn from other people. And it ain't even about the money, because obviously if this guy has huge acreage, 55 acres, all of them combined, you know that the money obviously is there, because that takes money to build. That takes money to buy the property, to buy the hangars, to buy the toys, to buy the land, to make the track, to make the shooting range, to have all these toys, to have it as a vacation home, to have the RV. Like, that was all there. And obviously, like, when you see that and you start peeping that, you're like, oh, okay, like, these people are kind of well off. But that wasn't the point. Like, yes, they were all actually multimillionaires, and that was like total surprise for me, especially how they were treating us. Like, I never expected that. But that just goes to show you that, man, you just got to be genuine. You got to be yourself. You got to treat others how you want to be treated. And when you're like that, good opportunities come your way. We had an amazing weekend. We had an amazing time bonding. We've learned so much from them. We've grown. We talked about our experiences. We talked about our life. Like, it was amazing. And so that actually gave me the idea of like, hey man, why don't I do an episode about this? Because I genuinely like to make episodes about my experiences. I like to reflect on them, and I like to see what I can grab ideas so that I can share and you guys can learn. I learn from my experiences. So it really matters. Your network really matters. And here's why. So let's go back to the term. Your network is your net worth. What that really means is that it grabs the idea that the value of your personal and your professional connections is a significant determining factor to your overall success and the opportunities that you have in your life. And so, like I was saying, I like to reflect on my experiences that I go through. I like to jot them down. I like to see what I learned from them. I like to see what I could have done better. I like to see how we can use them to not only grow from them, but so that I can, use some of that as content for you guys here listening or watching here on this podcast. And so your network really has the power to open up new doors, and has the power to give you new opportunities that weren't around for you, not only personally but both professionally. And so how this relates to this weekend is because we went there to ride. Like, we were going to go, and we did, and we rode side by sides all weekend. It was an amazing time. And so we went there on a personal level. And then when we were there, we started learning about them. We started learning about what they do. They started learning about what we do. We started learning about their lifestyle. We started learning that most of these guys homeschool their kids, and they take RVs, and they travel the country, and they ride different trails. They go from Ocala up to Tennessee, up to Utah, up to down to California. Like, these guys, it was a badass the type of lifestyle they have. And I was actually looking forward to it. And I was asking so many questions because I genuinely wanted to learn how I could bring some of that into my life. And so we're there to do riding, but we learned about their lifestyle. We learned about what they do professionally. And as a result, and this is my take on it, I always like to look at people that I can learn from. I look at people's experiences. I look at people, what they bring to the table. I look at people's values. That's super important for me. I look at their character. And when you see individuals that are doing a lot better than you, I always look at what I can learn from them, so that what I can use and what I can take from their experiences and I can apply them to my life so that I can grow. And so, in a way, when you meet people that are doing better than you and that are humble, that are willing to share their experiences on how they got there and what hardships they've had, in a way, if you really pay attention to that, that can become like some type of mentorship for you. And you can use it to level up. You really can. And so the benefits of a diverse network, what that brings is that it gives you exposure to different perspectives. Like it really does, because at different levels in our lives, we have different perspectives. And I look at things different that now than I looked at different when I was younger. Just like I'm sure how I look at things when I'm older than I look at things now. And so the different perspectives are amazing, because it really just they bring up conversations that are different. Like the conversations that you have are really different, my friends. They really are. And so I've always been big on this, and this is why I'm going to say it, but quality over quantity. For all your friendships, like I'm a big believer in that. And not only in friendships, for everything, I'm a big believer in quality over quantity. And it's important to surround yourself with positive and supportive people, because that's what quality means. If you want quantity, like typically that comes around toxic and negative friendships. Excuse me. And those shits, toxic and negative friendships, they hold you back. They drain your energy. Like that's really nothing good for you. And and so that's why I'm big on having quality over quantity, because um, having less people that are more meaningful in your life will bring you more, will bring you better experiences than having more people that generally don't really care about you and that are there um, just just because they're there. Like toxic and negative friendships, they evolve from that. From when you have too many of them and you're not investing valuable time into them, a lot of them can become toxic. And that's not good. And so you want to be able to cultivate meaningful friendships. And when you do that, that requires you to have some intention. It requires you to put some effort. And it requires you to have a genuine connection with the people that you're meeting. Um, and I've learned that and I've applied that. And it's taught me that by doing those things, you could really build some really cool friendships, some meaningful friendships, some friendships that will last, some people that will invite you to do things that you never thought, even if you just met them, because of the way you are, because of the way you look at things, because of your way of being, because of your character, because of your values. Like it really is. And so it takes me to the concept that you are the average of the 5 people you really spend the most time with. And that is so true. I've talked about this, I feel like multiple times on different episodes in one way or another. And it's really important because the people you hang around with, they have an impact on your mindset. And ultimately, that ends up having an impact on the behaviors that you have, whether it be good behaviors or bad behaviors, whether you have a positive mindset or a negative mindset. This is why it's so important to really identify who you're hanging around with. And not only that, but see what their values are. What do they have for their life? What do they have in vision? What are they trying to achieve? Like, what are their routines like? What do they do? What do they eat? What, like, who do they hang around with? Like it really has a meaningful impact on your future. And so thinking about all that is really what this episode came about. And I started researching and more so that I can have a good plan out to talk about, is that I wanted to share with you guys some strategies so that you can identify and so that you can nurture valuable relationships whenever they come into your life. And more times than none, unless you're actively going to look for them, they come as a surprise. And that's why I'm a big believer in how you do one thing is how you do everything, and always treat others with respect, always treat others with genuine care, like never lie, like do how you do one thing is how you do everything. Because if you just act and be all the time how you really are, you never have to question it. You don't have to worry about if you're gonna, treat someone different that is way better than you or not. And I don't like that. I like treating people the same. I'll treat the CEO of the company the same way that I'll treat the janitor. That's how I was raised. Always open all the doors. Always say thank you. Always say please. Always treat others with respect and pretty much treat others how you want to be treated. And so let's talk about some of the strategies that can help you identify and nurture having valuable relationships with your life. So first and foremost, you want to be able to be authentic, and you want to be able to be open about just you. Like, you don't want to hide nothing. Like, you don't want to just want to be open, and you want to be authentic. You want to be yourself. You want to be able to show genuine interest in others. Like, don't lie. Just genuinely be authentic and be like, man, how can I learn more about you? Like, what interests do we have? Like, what passions do we share? And like, and as you're talking with people, you want to be able to share some of your vulnerabilities so they can meet your authentic self. Like, it's not about hiding who we are. It's about leaning into who we are. And I'm a big believer, and this weekend kind of solidified, and I've known this for a while, but yeah, either money, alcohol, a lot of the things that are outsourced, um, kind of like, I can't think of the right word for now, but like all those things, what they do is they amplify who you are. They don't change who you are, they really amplify for who you are. So if you're a good person and you end up coming across a lot of money, you end up being a better person. But if you're a piece of shit person, and on the other spectrum of that, you drink a lot, well, guess what? When you drink, you're going to become a piece of shit person. You're going to become aggressive. And if just on flipping that on its side, if you're a good person and you always smile, if you're joking around, if you're laughing, like, maybe you drink a little bit, maybe you become even more of that. And so I'm a big believer that that money, experiences, external circumstances don't really change who you are. They enhance the person that you are inside. And so that's why you want to be able to have open and honest conversations so that you can build deeper connections as you meet these new people. And so you also, next is that you want to be able to seek common ground. And for us this weekend, the common ground was side by sides. The common ground was family. The common ground was bonding. The common ground was guns. The common ground was just having a lifestyle of doing what we want to do. Like, that was amazing. And I saw that there. And it just solidified how much more I want that for my family. And so as you're seeking common ground, you want to be able to look for shared interests. You want to be able to look for values, experiences, some things that you can form and have a basis for a meaningful connection. You want to be able to participate in activities so that you can find like-minded people. I stopped there because it reminded me of this weekend that it was getting towards the end of the night, and a lot of, my friends have kids, so they all went to sleep, and I took the opportunity to lean into it, and I stayed hanging around with a group of people that I had no clue. I was in their house, and I just wanted to foster that relationship, and I wanted to learn from like-minded people, and I wanted to see how that was all about. And so I was seeking common ground, and I was being vulnerable with some of the things that had happened to me and some of the things I have shared here with you guys. And I was sharing that, and it ends up happening that I bonded with one of the people there because they've gone through similar experiences I have. And as you're talking to people, you want to be able to be a good listener. You want to listen to understand, not to respond. I've been around so many people, and I used to be like this. And occasionally I'll find myself like this, and when I be able to catch myself, I stop. As someone is talking to you, like, you see this all the time. People are already trying to interrupt and trying to respond and they're so quick to just respond, and they're not listening to understand what you're saying. They're just listening to give you a response. And so that's why it's so important to practice active listening. And you want to show genuine interest in what the people are telling you and their stories and their perspectives, because that builds a deeper bond. And as you're listening, you're not listening to respond, you're listening to understand. Pause and take it in, and then ask thoughtful questions so that you can demonstrate that you're understanding what they're saying. Then you want to be able to initiate and follow up as the conversations are going. You want to be able to take initiative and reach out and make plans to spend together. Make plans to spend time together with the people that you're meeting. We're going to be able to follow up on conversations or some of the shared interests that you guys have so that you can deepen the connection. And just following on that is that when we left, like we met these guys for the first time and we were leaving, they're already inviting us to go ride with them in Tennessee and side by sides, and then go to Utah as well. And like, man, they were inviting us everywhere, and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was amazing. And so this is why it's so important to just be present and be who you are, be a good person, and just do one thing how you do everything. And so as you're developing these relationships, you want to be able to show appreciation and support. You want to express gratitude for your friend's presence. Like, you want to tell them thank you for being in my life. You want to be able to tell them what you admire about them. You want to be able to tell them, like, man, I really, admire this about you. Or and I said it this weekend, I really like the type of father that you are. I really like that this guy that didn't even let his kids play video games that had any type of guns, even though he had massive guns, huge safe, and all this stuff. And we went shooting there. They had a shooting range in the property. But as his kids grow up, he don't want them, playing all these video games that shoot people in the head. And he's like, no, man, I'm big on values. And so you want to be able to admire the qualities that you like about them. And you want to be able to be supportive. And you want to be available when the friends really need you, so that you can give them a listening ear, and you can be a helping hand if it's required. And so as you're establishing these relationships, you want to be able to invest time and effort into them. That's really what it boils down to, because if you're not willing to prioritize and invest some of your time and effort into those relationships, then they're never going to grow. So you want to be able to prioritize spending quality time together, whether it's through just having regular meetups, or maybe finding something that you have a shared interest in, or just having meaningful conversations. That goes a long way. And then after you hang around with them, you want to make an effort to stay connected. Like, I sent them a follow-up text after I got their number, and I was like, and 2 days passed, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for this weekend. I was really enjoyed meeting you and all your friends and your family, and I genuinely had a connection with you guys, and I just want to say thank you. I look forward to hanging around with you guys more often, and things like that go a long way. And a cool text message, maybe send them a video that makes them laugh, or call them. You want to be able to have that time and effort so that you can build those relationships. And as you're building them, you want to be able to be vulnerable and trustworthy, because trust for me is one of the most important things that you can have in a relationship. But trust takes time. It's fucking broken very fast, but it takes lots of time to build. And if you're vulnerable as a person, that trust builds even quicker. And so you want to be able to share your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences that you're having honestly with your friends. Like I shared a lot about the hurdles that I've had through in my life, and I ended up just having a connection with one of the gentleman's wives there, that she also had some hardships in her life, and we like kind of like shared a moment of bonding, and man, she was crying, and I started tearing up, and like that vulnerability brought connection, and like just it improved the relationship so much further. And I'm a big believer in that, and even now, so more than ever, I just want to be authentic. As you see these videos, as you're listening to me, as you see my social media, like the person that you see through camera, I want that to be, if you meet me out in the street, I want that to be the same person. So I've been leaning more so than ever into that. And when they tell you things that are confidential, you want to be able to respect that. You want to be able to demonstrate some of your trustworthiness that they've been giving you, so that you can honor your friends, so you can respect their privacy, so that you can have boundaries with the things that they told you, even if they told you, hey, I don't want you to share this. You see, I've been very careful on this episode not to share names, not to share too much, because I genuinely want to respect their privacy, right? And so as we move on, we want to be able to accept and appreciate the differences that we have as human beings. You want to be able to embrace the diversity and recognize that your friends may have different backgrounds. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different places. We all have different perspectives. We all have different personalities. So you want to be able to accept the differences and appreciate the differences. And not only appreciate them, but you want to be able to celebrate what each person is unique and what they bring to the table and to your circle. Because if you celebrate that, man, it makes people shine. It makes people happy. It makes people be more vulnerable with you, and you build a more genuine connection as a result. And as you learn more about these people, there's going to be differences, So when the conflicts come up, you want to be able to resolve those constructively. Like if you have a misunderstanding, um, if you have any conflicts come up, you want to be able to talk about them openly, but not only openly, but respectfully. You want to be able to listen to each other's perspectives. You want to be able to seek common ground so that you can work together to find some type of mutually accepted solution. Like even this weekend, I remember at night, we were all going to one of their friends' house, and my best friend's dad just didn't feel comfortable going over there, and so he didn't want to go. But his grandkids were over there, and so he made the guy of the property. He made a funny joke about it. And he gave a perspective shift that he was like, "Man, but your grandkids are there, and so you're not gonna go." And like, it just turned he turned a scenario that could have not gone so well into something that was amazing, all about with the perspective that he was talking. He was using laughter. He was using um, just joy, and to build that connection between him and my best friend's father, because they're both around the same age. And I thought that I admired him about that. Like instead of going out and be like, hey, come on, just put that aside and let's go over there, he was giving him examples of how to change his perspective. And I really admired that about them. And you also want to be able to stay committed and flexible, because these relationships, it's going to take effort. Like you got to be able to understand that building genuine relationships, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to require you sometimes to adapt to some changes over time. You want to be able to stay committed to nurturing your friendships through life's ups and downs. Like life has speed bumps, life has curveballs, life comes with the unexpected. And so you want to be able to be flexible to adjusting the evolving circumstances that come into your life. It's all about flexibility, and it's all about perspective shifts, and it's all about knowing that we're all here to do more and be more and just become better. And so by implementing some of these strategies that I've been covering today, you can really cultivate meaningful relationships. And not only just that, but you can cultivate meaningful relationships that enrich your entire life, those that provide you with support. And you can cultivate relationships that build like trust, that build authenticity, and that relationships that really just end up contributing to your overall well-being. They become amazing. And like I've, I've been on this journey of like leaning more into the unknown, leaning more into the uncomfortableness of meeting new people. And this is why you got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and meet new people, talk to new people. Like it's so easy to play it safe and to stay back and to stay quiet and to not talk and to not be curious. It's so easy to stay low key, but you don't grow, you don't evolve, you don't meet new people, you don't build meaningful relationships that way. This is why I want you to remember that building strong relationships really just takes time and effort, and it takes being intentional. But the rewards, my friends, of building genuine, meaningful connections is well worth it. It really is. So I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling out all the motorsport enthusiasts out there who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back and prove to the freaking world that they wish they were like us. Those of you that made it to the end of the episode, I just want to say that you got yourself a win, and I truly appreciate you for investing your valuable time into the Live Wide Open podcast. This movement right here is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others improve is the mission that God has tasked me with. We are driven individuals breaking the freaking stereotype and working on becoming the best that we can be. Join me on this journey while we help as many motorsport enthusiasts as possible to create the best lives that we can imagine. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is WideOpenRandy. And if you felt any connection to today's message, I ask that you please, man, share this on your story, because that's how many more people can really see our message. And that's how our message spreads. And that's how we continue to grow. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. But till then, live life wide open, my friends. Peace.